now's a great opportunity if you want to go down there and grab something to eat, maybe a souvenir here today before we see the green flag cars begin to roll out. But in a few moments, we'll be ready to go racing here and ready for the pre-race ceremony. Today, 205th race. For the 74th time in the history of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the Ground Pounders roll into the Riverhead Raceway in Riverhead, New York on the tip of Long Island for 200 laps of action today. It's the Miller Lite Salute Wayne Anderson 200 at Riverhead Raceway. Hello everybody, my name is Joe Koss. We'll be joined today by Steve Halpin in the booth for today's 200 lap event and Jesse Punch down on pit lane. It's been an eventful couple of days here. Rain washed out qualifying here yesterday. They set the starting lineup by the rule book, and that has certainly made for an abundance of storylines as we get ready to see the green flag here today. Joining us throughout the broadcast today, down on pit road, will be Jesse Punch. Jesse, today the storylines are thick as we get ready for 200 laps of racing. What is going on down on pit lane today that we need to keep an eye on?
Well, Joe, you mentioned it with the weather washing out yesterday's race. A couple of major changes heading into this afternoon's run. We will obviously be running this thing during the daylight hours as opposed to under the lights here at Riverhead. And you'll notice one major change to the entry list. Matt Hirschman decided not to stick around. He had some prior obligations for his Sunday, so he's no longer in the field. With Hirschman out, that is a pretty major competitive factor that is no longer in tonight's lineup. Going to see how that shakes things up for this afternoon.
Well, thank you, Jesse. It's going to be a busy day on pit road here today for sure. The drivers and teams not able to change tires unless they have a flat or NASCAR deems that approved, but they can make adjustments on the unique pit lane here on the tight Riverhead Raceway, which always brings a tremendous amount of intrigue when we come into this racetrack. This racetrack is unique in the way that there's the regulars of the Whelen Modified Tour, but then there are the local drivers, and those local drivers add a little bit of extra. They race here, the Tour-type Modifieds, weekly at this track, which is unique for most places that the Whelen Modified Tour contests at. And they will certainly be a factor here today, and we have seen them go to victory lane in the recent past, and we expect the local crowd and the local drivers to be a major factor here today. Race fans It is now time to introduce to you the starting lineup for today's Miller Lite Salute Wayne Anderson 200 at Riverhead Raceway. Running a very special paint scheme in honor of Wayne Anderson here today. He'll drive the number 15, multiple-time track winner, multiple-time winner of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour as well. Please welcome the number 15 Eastport Feeds machine for Timmy Salamito. Starting 29th today, driving number 88, it's the Ream Modified from Calverton, New York, Roger Turbush. Starting 28th, making his debut in the Whelen Modified Tour, right here on Long Island, this Checker 1 manufacturer 02, Alan Peterson. He's a regular here at Riverhead Raceway, driving number 45 from Bedford, New York, the Hydro Action Suffolk Precast Modified, Jack Hanley Jr. Starting 26 today, driving Modified 49 from Calverton, New York, Earth Splendor, providing the backing. Please welcome Chris Young. Another Riverhead regular will start car number 96 from the 25th position. He drives a Peter Clark Motorsports Modified, Matt Brody. Rolling off in 24th, it's car number 81, runner-up at the Whelen Modified Tour event last September, the Cromer's Market. Keith Grimes, 81 from Riverhead, Mark Stewart. He'll start 23rd today, driving car 05 from Merrick, New York, a regular and a former winner here at Riverhead, the Elite Sound Studios Incorporated machine from Merrick, New York, John Beatty Jr. A proven talent on the Whelen Modified Tour and here at Riverhead from Manorville, New York, driving car number 24, the Kennedy Long Island Realty, Motorcycle Mike, number 24, Justin Brown. Returning to Whelen Modified Tour competition, he'll start 21st here today, driving the 00 BNP machine SSRP Modified, Tom Rogers Jr. Starting 20th in the 34 car from Holtzville, New York, the A&R Materials, John's Fuel Oil Rapid Modified, J.B. Fortman. Starting 19th, driving car number 2 from Center Reach, Gershaw Recycling, bring us J.R. Bertuccio. In 26, starting 18th today, he is a regular on the Modified Tour and a local favorite here at Riverhead, the Lakeland Landscape Supply Meat Chassis car, Gary McDonald. Starting 17th is a multi-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion from Milford, Connecticut, the Baldwin Automotive 7 New York, Doug Kobe. She will start 16th today, making her 150th career Whelen Modified Tour start. The Pine Knoll Auto Sales 01 from Wakefield, New Hampshire, Melissa Fifield. It's another milestone for the driver who starts 15th today, driving car number 4, making his 200th career Whelen Modified Tour start, the Conley Company's LLC Modified, Tim Conley. Starting 14th today, one of the 3 Catalano brothers from Ontario, New York, the Captain Pit Marina and Hideaway 84, Tyler Catalano. Another one of the local favorites, drives car number 18, will start 13th today from Calverton, New York, the Bowie One Seafood and Restaurant Modified, Ken Hagee. Scheduled to start 12th was Matt Hirschman. He is not in attendance today. Starting 11th, car number 54. He is the eldest of the 3 Catalano brothers. From Ontario, New York, the FX Caprera number 54, Tommy Catalano. And now inside the top 10, he was a big winner at Monadnock Speedway a few weeks ago for his first career Whelen Modified Tour victory. He drives Old Blue from Rehoboth, Massachusetts, the Propane Plus, Lynn's Propane Trucks number 3, Jake Johnson. Starting ninth today, it's car 64 from Northampton, Pennsylvania. G&G Electrical Supply, Dell Electric bring you Austin Beers. Starting eighth, it's car number 32 from Owego, New York. Musco Lighting and Northeast Drilling bring you Tyler Ripkema. Starting seventh today, a driver returning to Riverhead for the first time since 2008, the Franzoa Trucking. Karchner, number 19 from New Jersey, Anthony Sesley. Starting sixth today, two-time and reigning Whelen Modified Tour champion. He drives a Blue Mountain Machine and Furniture, number 16 from Norwalk, Connecticut, Ron Silk. Starting fifth today, has an opportunity to break the track win record here today if he can score his 12th victory. He drives car number 51, an 11-time winner here at Riverhead. Today he will drive the Phoenix Communications Incorporated Modified. It's Justin Bonsignor. Starting fourth, the driver from Miller Place, New York in the Riverhead Building Supply, number 46, Craig Lutz. And on the inside of row number 2, starting third from Bay Shore, New York, Chalou Performance, MTT, and Munns bring you car number 22, Kyle Bonsignor. And on the outside of the front row, he drives car number 1 from Orchard Park, New York, the Fleetworks Incorporated Modified. Please welcome Patrick Emmerling. And starting in the number 1 spot here today, driving car number 56, the Catalano Motorsports Modified from Ontario, New York, Trevor Catalano. So that is the starting lineup for today's Miller Lite Salute Wayne Anderson 200. Many of Wayne Anderson's guests and family down here along the front straightaway as we prepare to go racing here today at the Riverhead Raceway. The starting lineup today was set by owners' points in the rule book, and then the redraw rule was back. The top 10 drivers redrew for position, and that is how Trevor Catalano was ready for the pole position. Let's go trackside now for pre-race ceremonies and Steve Helbin.
Thank you very much, Joe Koss. At this time, we ask that everyone please rise and remove your headwear. As Kylie check 1, 2, sorry about that. Kylie Druick will sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean, wide with fire.
Thank you very much, Kylie. Today, Miller Lite will sponsor this event, and they will honor this man, Wayne Anderson. For Wayne Anderson, what a driving career. 1965, the Isom Speedway Rookie of the Year. 32 Riverhead Raceway wins ties him with his buddy Bill Park, all time. 5 Riverhead Raceway championships, 1982, 1987, 1988, 1990, and 1991, which ties him with Chargin' Charlie and Tom Rogers Jr. 3 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour wins, at New Egypt Speedway, the Riverhead Raceway in Stafford. In 170 Whelen Modified Tour starts, he has 34 top 5s, 77 top 10s, and 310 laps led. And in 1990, he and Lenny win the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Championship. He's a two-time champion at Iceland. Change microphones. Two-time champion at Iceland Speedway. And then as an owner, 45 wins here at Riverhead Raceway, 25 with Matt Soper, 10 with Timmy Salamito, 8 with Sean Salamito, and 1 win apiece with Ted Christopher and Donnie Leah. 5 Riverhead Race championships with Sean Salamito in 2016, Kyle Soper in 2018, 2019, 2020. 2021 and 2022. What a year you've had, Wayne Anderson. It's been amazing, and we're so proud to honor you here today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for Tom Gatz and Connie Partridge. They did this right, and I really appreciate what they've done for me. All my friends and family are here today. I wish all the drivers a good luck. Bring home the bacon.
Let him hear, folks. Wayne Anderson. Right now, we'll go upstairs to Joe Cox.
It is now time for the command to fire engines. Let's go trackside.
All right, for the most famous words in racing, Wayne.
Gentlemen and ladies, start your engines.
Fire them up. Also tonight, Aiden and Logan, Wayne Anderson's grandsons, will throw the ceremonial green flag. Let's go upstairs to Joe Koss. Joe?
Thank you, Steve. Lots of history here at this racetrack. Wayne Anderson, all his guests here on hand. What a moment here at this racetrack. Steve listing off all the accolades of what he has accomplished and what he has meant for modified racing, not only here at Riverhead Raceway, but beyond. Has had a tremendous influence. So great to have him here to be celebrated today as a 5-time champion, a Whelen Modified Tour champion with multiple feature event wins here at this racetrack, and certainly a name synonymous with Riverhead Raceway. His car, though, Timmy Salamito, you saw a moment ago, will start all the way at the back. The number 15 car, but we have certainly seen the 15 put on a show more than once here at Riverhead Raceway, and we expect more of the same here today. So, field is set, ready to go, 200 laps, and this is certainly going to be a race that will put a lot of pressure on these drivers because of the rain that we had here yesterday, and it was really a misty rain. What we saw was a 20-minute practice session with a little mist in the air, although the track was dry. So track conditions yesterday will be very different than what we have here today. And this is the second year in a row that this race was scheduled for a Saturday night, but run during the day. And so many of the teams have gone back to their notebooks last year, this weekend, to figure out how this racetrack runs different during the day. Now, it never really rained here yesterday. It just missed it for the most part. So the racetrack still has a lot of that rubber built into it. But the NASCAR Air Titan was here. And what that does is it cleans the racetrack up certainly a lot better than it would than if you didn't have that on property. And so the racetrack will certainly be very, very different, even though it still has quite a bit of rubber from the modified yesterday, but also from the weekly divisions that were running earlier today. So a lot to keep an eye on. One of the other big factors in the race today is because of the redraw situation. You've got drivers in a limited practice. You've got drivers scattered all around this field. You got guys like Doug Kobe, who's going to be starting 17th. We've already talked about Timmy Salamito, who starts 30th here today. But all those Riverhead weekly regulars that know this racetrack inside and out and were at the top of the speed chart in practice yesterday, they're all starting, for the most part, 20th on back, Steve, and that is going to make one of the most exciting parts. And so early on, we'll keep an eye on the front, but I'm really curious to see how those Riverhead locals do from 20th on back.
It's going to be one of those days where you have to be conservative not to tear your car up, not to wear your car out. But someone like J.R. Bertuccio, J.B. Ford, John Beatty Jr., all these drivers, Mark Stewart, have been very competitive in the Modified Tour events. So now they normally get the opportunity to qualify, and they run so well here, they start up front. Today they're going to have to come from the back, and it's going to be real interesting to see how these competitors make their way to the front of the field, if they can.
Well, field about set to roll here. Let's take just a quick look one more time at the starting lineup, give you a good look at where they will all roll here today. You see Trevor Catalano on the front row, lining up alongside Patrick Emmerling, a winner here at Riverhead in the past. Kyle Bonsignor, Craig Lutz, who was fastest in practice. Justin Bonsignor going for his 12th victory here at Riverhead. That'd be a track record. And Ron Silk, who already has 2 wins this year. Anthony Cecily, Tyler Ripkema, Austin Beers, Jake Johnson, Tommy Catalano, and his brother Tyler Catalano inside the top 12. You go back, Melissa Fifield makes 150 career starts here today. Tim Conley, 200 career starts inside row 8. And Doug Kobe, who will start 17th here today. Chris Young in the 49 car starting 24th, was very optimistic about his car here today. He was fast in practice, 6th here yesterday. Rounding out the starting lineup here today from there on back, a lot of the drivers that did not have owner points this year in the Whelen Modified Tour. Matthew Brody, Alan Peterson makes his debut in the Whelen Modified Tour here today. Jack Hanley, Timmy Solomito, and Roger Turbush, your starting lineup. Scheduled to start in the event today in the 12th position was Matt Hirschman, and so he not here today. All of the outside row starters will move up 1 lane and gain 1 spot. There is the 15 car. Timmy Solomito, Wayne Anderson called him to put this deal together, along with Eastport Feeds, longtime sponsor of that team, both Timmy and Wayne Anderson, and they've got this 15 here on track. And in particular, for Timmy Solomito, he's going to have to pay attention to some of the keys to the race today. You're going to have to manage lap traffic. For Solomito, he's going to have to try to stay on the lead lap. Lap traffic will get on you quick here today. You've got to fend off the locals. The local driver, I think, will be a factor here as the race goes on. And most importantly, this is a short, tight bull ring racetrack. You got to keep your cool here throughout 200 laps.
And for Solomito, he's been one of the more dominant competitors from Riverhead Raceway in these tour races, but he normally starts in the top 5. It'll be very interesting to see how much patience he actually has early once the leaders start to get to the back of the pack. And they won't get there because they're much faster than these cars, but there's a lot of traffic out here. So it's all about how Timmy Solomito, John Beatty Jr., all the Riverhead Raceway regulars manage their time trying to get through this field. They just have to be patient, yet they can't be too patient or they'll find themselves a lap down in a hurry.
Got a couple of laps to go here under the pace laps before we turn them loose here for 200 laps. Every lap will count here today, and boy, they go off very, very quickly. You look at the practice speeds here yesterday, turning laps. At the top of the chart, that was Craig Lutz. He was at 11.6, 11.8, the fastest lap time that he had laid down here yesterday. And again, that was in misty conditions when they had an opportunity to get out on racetrack for about 20 minutes in an abbreviated practice session, and that was the last time they were on track. So the teams had an opportunity this morning to work on their race cars, make some adjustments for the very new racetrack, and they are going to need every bit of that here today. A great crowd on hand, back again for this Sunday edition here at Riverhead Raceway. Field will roll down into turn number 3, and they will get the 1-to-go signal this time by to turn them loose for what is such an outstanding Miller Lite salutes Wayne Anderson 200. A salute well-deserved for Wayne Anderson.
Absolutely. His 2 grandsons, Aiden and Logan, in the starter stand, will throw the green flag here today. We're about to have at it. Miller Lite presents 200 laps for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
For the first time, Trevor Catalano will lead the Whelen Modified Tour to the green flag on the inside lane along one of the veterans. It's Patrick Emmerling to the outside lane. Green flag is waving here at Riverhead, and outside out in front, Patrick Emmerling noses ahead, but Catalano rallies back to the bottom as they compete for that top spot.
Catalano moves up the raceway, makes slight contact with the 1 car of Emmerling. Emmerling always had problems here at Riverhead Raceway, and a couple of years ago in his family-owned car was able to start to turn the trick. But right now he runs second to Catalano. They head out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
The Catalano family is used to running on large, wide-open racetracks. We've seen Trevor be so good at those racetracks early on in the season, but we are now into a stretch of 3 races of bull rings. It was Monadnock 2 weeks ago, Riverhead here today. In a couple of weeks in June, we'll go to Seacon Speedway. But that doesn't seem to hold Trevor Catalano back. He jumps out to the early race lead. He's able to get by Patrick Emmerling. And here comes Kyle Bonsignor, who's looking to have a good run here at what was his home track as a young child before moving back home to North Carolina where he lives today.
Kyle Bonsignor ran many the lap here at Riverhead Raceway in a go-kart. Then they moved down south. He never got into normal, regular weekly competition here. But when he came back to this place, he said it felt amazing in a modified.
Moved at, 16, 17 years old. He was too young to race here at the time, but was able to get back to run modified competition. Kyle Bonsignor here. Now his cousin right behind him in the 51. He spent a lot of time racing here. Meanwhile, trouble, turn 4. It is Jake Johnson, last week's winner at Monadnock Speedway, who was brought around. Left rear tire is down on the 3 car. He's able to get it rolling once again. He stays on the lead lap, but it brings us under our first caution here. 7 laps into the Miller Lite salutes. Wayne Anderson, 200.
Unfortunate for Jake Johnson. This car always so good here at Riverhead Raceway. He was setting a good pace early on here, but unfortunately a left rear flat tire for Johnson.
Now they'll have the opportunity to get this left rear tire repaired because it did come off the rim. That'll give them the flexibility to be able to get that done by the way this pit road is set up, Steve. Now this is something they did a couple of years ago when we ran the Eddie Parker 256, and they had taken the pit road off for the summer when we were here in early of 2023, left it in place since the last race that we ran here on the Modified Tour, the ISO 300.
Yeah, what they've done, they take the center section out so we can continue to run figure 8 races, but these white walls do not stay up. They come out, and they've been able to utilize this pit road today. These are for flat tires only. You can't come in and make a tire change because it's not a tire race, a rule for a tire change. So it's basically to have these crews here for that incident.
We'll get a look at the replay here to see exactly what happened off turn 4 for Jake Johnson. He was running mid-pack at the time. They got down into the corner. Johnson was on the bottom, and the car just snapped around. I wonder if it was a left rear tire that just went down on the 3 car for Jake Johnson. Hard to tell. It was just to the right of the frame. Car was just about spinning already, but yeah, it looked like, hard to tell whether or not there was contact or if the left rear just went around. By the way it snapped around, I tend to believe it was the left rear that went down first. Jake Johnson making his way, or trying to make his way down pit road. Pit road still closed at the moment. That's why he drove by last time through. Green light is now on. And Steve, pit road entrance here at the exit of turn 2. And Jake Johnson will make his way down pit road, as does Timmy Salamito in the 15 car. Let's go trackside to Jesse Punch.
That 3 of Jake Johnson still making his... This team coming off a huge win last race at Monadnock. The Whelen Modified win, and the first time we've seen that number 3 Old Blue in victory lane since 2017. That team's going to take that left rear flat off that car, replace it there. The 15, also making his way off of pit road right now. Doesn't look like there's much damage to that. Now let that tire change, and they're going to send Jake Johnson on his way.
Both Jake Johnson and Timmy Salamito haven't been out, so they will go to the tail end of the field here and have an opportunity to regroup. We'll get a look at scoring. They look to be released at the tail end of the field here. We'll just make sure that they did indeed stay on the lead lap, which it appears as though they have. And so we'll update you as that goes on. But the field has been given the 1 to go signal. They're doubled up once again. Trevor Catalano did a nice job on the bottom on that last restart. Took him a couple of laps as the tires came in to be able to fend off Patrick Emmerling. Let's see how he does here on this next start.
Green flag back in the air. Emmerling with a good start. Catalano gets sideways. Emmerling way up the hill. Here comes Lutz to the back bumper.
But Catalano maybe did not get the tires cleaned off before he went back under the green flag, stepped on the gas, the car just went sideways, and everybody got into him from behind. Watch the cars drift up the racetrack a little bit. Catalano gets the boot. Meanwhile, we've got trouble down in turns 1 and 2. Multiple cars involved, including Timmy Salamito. Matthew Brody got a piece of that. And then I think that's the 81 of Mark Stewart, who's got a lot of damage to the back bumper of his number 81.
That all started with the leaders. The leaders all got together going into 1 and 2 and backed the whole field up behind them. And the chain reaction didn't take effect till almost the rear of the field. Unfortunately for Mark Stewart, he's probably going to lose a lap here, as the leaders did go by him. Pit road is closed. Patrick Emmerling will now come to your race lead.
We'll take a look at what happened. Watch the leaders up front, as Steve noted. They got walked up the racetrack and stacked everybody up, and it wasn't until mid-pack when finally the accordion came together, and that's when the 15 of Salamito got involved in the damage to the back of the 81. But it actually started up front. You see Emmerling way up the hill, 56 of Catalano way up the hill, and then everybody else really nowhere else to go, with Salamito and Mark Stewart getting the worst of it. The tough break for Mark Stewart was that he had a very impressive 2 races here last year. He finished 6th, he finished 2nd in September, so he constantly got better and was very optimistic about his chances here today, and he's certainly going to be behind the 8 ball now.
And he also practiced really well yesterday. I believe he was in the top 5 in practice yesterday. And, you know, what's good for him here is you're 19 laps in. If you get a quick caution, he can be eligible for the wave around, get back on the lead lap and try to work from the back of the pack. But this is what we spoke about earlier in the day. There's some good cars trying to come from the back right now, and there's not a lot of room to do it.
Yeah, some of the movers that we've seen so far. Doug Kobe started 17th. He is up to 12th. J.R. Bertuccio is on the move as well. Tom Rogers. Tom Rogers started back where? In 21st. And Rogers is up to 15th, so he's picked up 6 spots. Doug Covey has picked up 5 spots, and so they've been pretty efficient at moving forward. Tom Rogers, he started towards the back as well, or I should say J.R. Bertuccio. He's also picked up 4 spots. So there's some movement here a little bit deeper in the pack. We talked about those locals being a factor.
And what you have noticed is Bonsignor in the 51 had gotten to the front, then got behind Catalano when he got loose there. And Justin Bonsignor fell all the way back now, right around 10th.
Looks like Bonsignor scored now 7th as he comes across this time through. And there's the 81 car. Mark Stewart just paused here on pit lane as they recycle the lap counter around based on what you described earlier with the field going by him. So Mark Stewart here on the bottom. Field will come on by. He'll rejoin at the tail end of the field as we work under the second caution of the day. And the field has been given the 1-to-go signal this time by. Another car that has quite a bit of damage is the 24 car of Justin Brown. He got some damage on the left side of his machine. He's deep in the field back at 20th, but a lot of damage on that car as well. So they will wave the caution off, or wave the green flag off here as the caution comes out one more time. Want to get some of the safety vehicles parked in the proper position before we are ready to see the green flag. So they'll give them the 1-to-go this time. All right, so field doubled up again. This time Patrick Emmerling on the inside lane. Greg Lutz on the outside, the quickest car in practice here yesterday. Line up side by side. Green flag is out. Emmerling and Lutz toe-to-toe, dead even across as they go for turn 2.
And Emmerling again up the raceway, but that allows the 46 to gain the momentum on the top side of the raceway, and Craig Lutz comes to the lead. Here comes Ron Silk.
Silk, little by little, marching forward, goes to the inside, picks up second over Patrick Emmerling. Here comes Kyle Bonsignor now challenging Trevor Catalano, who's got his hands full up in the outside lane with Justin Bonsignor, the 51, in his tire tracks.
Justin Bonsignor looking to go to the inside with his cousin Kyle Bonsignor as they try to go around the Catalano number 56.
Justin Bonsignor trying to make that inside line work. Just behind them, we see the 70 Orca Doug Cody starting to make moves as well. But we watch the battle for the 5th spot. Here comes the 22 inside lane. It is Kyle Bonsignor trying to find a way around Trevor Catalano, who somehow, some way, continues to stay tough in the outside.
Yeah, he's running a great line on the outside, way high on the outside, but still able to keep that car going forward. Is Trevor Catalano.
Battle up front for the race lead. Ron Silk goes to the inside of Craig Lutz and completes the pass in turn 3. Our 4th leader of the event, Trevor Catalano, Patrick Emmerling, Craig Lutz, and now Ron Silk out in front 30 laps in.
A lot of movement coming from the back. Doug Kobe now into the top 10 in the 7NY. But right now, Justin Bonsignor battles on the inside of Trevor Catalano.
And Doug Kobe might have one of the fastest cars. Started 17th, as we've noted, now inside the top 10 and moving forward. Kyle Bonsignor able to get by Trevor Catalano. Justin Bonsignor sneaks underneath, and Anthony Cecily behind in the 19, trying to follow him on through. As they come across the line again, Cecily keeps the nose underneath Trevor Catalano on the back straightaway.
And Cecily looks good here. He doesn't have a lot of experience at Riverhead Raceway, but doing a great job thus far in car number 19.
Hasn't raced here since 2008, running a part-time schedule the last couple of years. The Whelen Modified Tour came back here and has an opportunity to show what he can do here on the short track. Tremendous amount of experience at the Wall Stadium in New Jersey, and that's really where he has made his home and cut his teeth. Riverhead Raceway a little bit foreign to him in the 19 car for Anthony Cecily.
So right now, car number 16, Ron Silk continues to lead the way. Craig Lutz is second. To third, Patrick Emmerling in car number 1. Fourth is the 22. The 22 of Kyle Bonsignor. Fifth, the 51 of Justin Bonsignor. The 6th, Anthony Cecily. 7th is Austin Beers. 8th, car number 56, Trevor Catalano. 9th, Doug Kobe. And 10th, Tyler Ripkema.
Right behind him is J.B. Fortin, who's trying to charge up towards the front of the field. We have not talked about him very much. He's another driver that started deep. He started back in 34th. He's picked up 9 spots since we saw the green flag. And you go back even further still, great action here. He had a couple of drivers that had problems earlier. One of them is a 15 of Timmy Saladino. The other is a 3 car of Jake Johnson. And they're starting to carve their way through the field. Both were on pit road earlier under that first caution.
They have been able to create a little space between themselves and the leaders as they start to pass some cars.
And they'll need just that. They'll need that padding to stay on the lead lap. They'll also need some cautions so they can pick some cars off and allow the field to close back up. But I would not count them out. The trick here at Riverhead, 11, 12-second laps. We're almost a quarter of the way through the race already. Timmy Saladino has raced up to 17th, but there's a long way to go to be able to make inside the top 10.
And the problem is the fall off for Salamino. As he gets further through this field, he may lose his tires much earlier than anybody else, due to the amount of hard driving he's doing to try to get through this field.
The good battles deeper in the field. There's the 64 of Austin Beers. Just behind that battle, the 32 of Tyler Ripkema able to pass Doug Kobe. Kobe was up to 9th, now back to 10th. And that opens up the door underneath him with the 34 car of J.B. Fortin to go underneath him and see if he can challenge a spot. This is Austin Beers and Trevor Catalano. Beers putting the pressure on the 19 of Anthony Cecily.
Austin Beers with a good start to this event. He now looks to the inside of Cecily, but Cecily with a great run down the back straightaway will hold his position.
We'll have to dance with some traffic up ahead as Justin Bonsignor comes into frame. And the 51 up front, though, the battle for the race lead is starting to intensify. Craig Lutz in his car has gotten a lot better on the long runs, and Ron Silk knows how to conserve and save his equipment, but Lutz is there, just a half a car off the back bumper of Ron Silk.
And if you remember, when Silk got to Lutz, he simply just got up out of the way and let him go. He didn't even try to fight him for the spot. Now here he is, right back to the rear bumper of Ron Silk.
And although Craig Lutz is from Long Island, he never spent a lot of time racing here. They were fastest in practice, but his crew chief, Doug Ojeko, has spent a tremendous amount of time working on race cars for guys like Kyle and Justin Bonsignor, Timmy Salamino. He knows this racetrack very well, and a win here would mean, I think, a lot more to Doug Ojeko than seeing Craig Lutz go to victory lane, because he has been here so much as a crew chief, but has not yet gotten that Whelen Modified Tour victory.
And Doug used to himself run go-karts here at Riverhead Raceway and the old Medford Speedway on Long Island. And this, as you said, Joe, this would be a huge win for them today. But Silk now starting to stretch his lead again on the 46 car.
Yeah, just very patient around the lap traffic, and that was one of our keys to the race, managing lap traffic. He knew that he had to tiptoe around some lap cars and then was able to rally on through. Now, some cars that are moving, Jack Hanley going forward, Doug Kobe going backwards. Kobe has now fallen 4 positions. Jack Hanley in that 45 was not happy at all yesterday during practice. He said, I don't know what I'm going to have when we go racing, and he's looking pretty strong here. Steve, you announce here weekly with the Tour Type Modified. The cars themselves are about the same, but the tire compound is very different. You normally run a 50-lap feature event here at this racetrack on a Saturday night, but we've just passed that mark now. 200 laps is a whole different animal.
Yeah, management of their equipment, management of their tires is totally different for these Riverhead Raceway competitors. So right now, they may seem real good real early, but can they maintain?
Trouble on the back straightaway, the 54 of Trevor Catalano off the pace. They were splitting him left and right on the backstretch, and his car now pauses at the entrance of turn 3 to bring us under the third caution, 58 laps into the Miller Lite. Salutes Wayne Anderson 200.
Yeah,
Right front knocked off of that 54 for Catalano, and he is frustrated.
For him, yeah. He had a good run going. He was mid-pack, Tommy Catalano.
Boy, tough break for Trevor Catalano. I'm sorry, Tommy Catalano, excuse me, in the 54 car.
Yeah, unfortunate. We didn't see how that happened. I mean, is it just the right front flat? No, it's definitely suspension damage.
The car was slow coming off turn 2, and everybody was bobbing and weaving just to get out of the way to the inside lane. They split them 3 wide on the back straightaway. Let's see if we can see what happened. There's a little bit of contact between he and the 15 of Timmy Salamito, and then there was Tommy Catalano slow on the back straightaway.
It made you just be a flat. Right there, they made contact. And like it could just be a flat tire for Catalano.
Car not under power, so they've got one of the wreckers pushing him to see if he can get him back down to pit lane. So maybe the shot was enough where it caused other problems, not only the right front tire being down, but mechanical problems as well, as he was not able to get the car refired as it sat on the back straightaway.
So 60 laps into this event currently of 200. All we have is second. Joette Anderson asked me if I could publicly thank Connie Partridge, Tom Gatz, John Elwood for the honor here tonight. Natural Designs, Maura and Doug, Beesport Feeds, Eastern Scaffolding, everyone else included. They thank you so much for honoring Wayne Anderson here tonight.
Boy, Catalano with that right front tire down, he could not make that sharp corner to get the car down pit lane. And that created a problem for him and his team, because now he's just outside of pit in and pretty well stuck at this point for Catalano with no fire under the hood of that 54 car. Meanwhile, the 18 car of Ken Hagee in for service here quickly. Get some work there as the 16 of Ron Silk leads the way. Now in the Catalano camp, bonus for this caution, the 84 Tyler Catalano will be the beneficiary and get the lucky dog, be able to come back around on the lead lap.
And this is his first time here, maybe his second time here. So good for him. He'll get back on the lead lap here. Try and make his way back to the front of the field. 62 laps into this event. A good start for Ron Silk in car number 16. Your race leader took Ronnie Silk until last year to win his first race here at Riverhead Raceway. And we broke his chops in victory lane saying, you know, the first one's always the toughest. He said, well, let's see what we can do. And here he is today, right up front, 63 laps into this event.
And that was one of the keys to his championship last year, was winning at tracks that he had never won at before. And that was really what opened up an outstanding season for Ron Silk. So he leads the way here. We're waiting for the 54 of Tommy Catalano to finally make it down pit lane. They've bypassed the backstretch pit road, so that way he's got enough arc to be able to get the car pushed down into the pit road that he is pitted on, which is the front stretch pit road. Crew is up with that right front tire, but Tommy Catalano at this point has lost at least 6 laps through this incident. Let's go down to pit road and Jesse Punch. Well, work continues on the right front of that car for Tommy Catalano.
That
they
54
are trying
of
to get the
Tommy Catalano
right
down
front
here
off.
on pit road now. Looks like he's potentially going to drop that window night. No, just messing with it. That team's getting that right front tire replaced here now. And they're going to hopefully way Doesn't look like there's much damage to that 54, but that team's taking their time getting that tire, making sure everything's looking before they send him back out.
Thank you, Jesse, as they've been able to send the 54 back out onto the racetrack. So, 66 laps in. Caution continues as we work here, aiming for lap 200. This particular race is so much history, and Steve, you documented it earlier today in pre-race ceremonies. Wayne Anderson, such a special individual when it comes to modified racing here at Riverhead. His success as a 5-time track champion, I mean, legendary in modifieds here at Riverhead.
5-time track champion as a driver and a 5-time track champion as an owner. So 10 track championships here at Riverhead Raceway since 1965. And he won his first one in 1982. So what an incredible, I mean, we were reading it to him. You know what he said to me? Hey, could you give me that list? I didn't realize I won all that stuff. So I'll bring this to him afterwards, but an amazing career and the drivers that he's helped along the way. You know, I remember a phone call. He had a problem on Saturday where he was driving the car and they needed someone to drive it. And because something was wrong with his back, and they called Donnie Leah. Donnie Leah showed up here, started last, and by lap 15 he was leading the race and he won the race. And that was probably about 14, 15 years ago. And I remember when he first put Ted Christopher in the car. Ted Christopher, when he came here, helped our local modified drivers so much with even just simple, we used to crash on hot laps. And Teddy Christopher at a driver's meeting said, why are you guys racing each other on hot laps? Get single file and then run hot laps. And we've done it ever since. And when Teddy and Wayne won together, it's one of the greatest scenes in the pit area afterwards, how excited Wayne was that Teddy Christopher drove his car to a win. It was just a great thing. And then you have both Salamito brothers. He launched the career of Timmy Salamito. He got Timmy Salamito into tour racing. He, Doug and Mora from Eastport Feeds, they got Timmy Salamito tour racing. And he's just an incredible man. He's done so many things here. And he still comes here every Saturday, even though he doesn't have a car. He still comes here every Saturday and makes sure he watches the modified races.
And it's great that Riverhead Raceway has decided over the past couple of years. Last year this race was to salute Mike Iwanisco. 11 victories now, tied with Justin Bonsignor for the most track victories here at Riverhead Raceway. This year, Wayne Anderson. It's a nice tradition that they've added for this May race when the Modified Tour is in town.
It is, and we're going to try to honor someone every year. I know who we're honoring next year. I haven't been given the go-ahead to say so, but we will honor another Long Island great who's done wonderful things in NASCAR, and I'm sure we'll announce that in the next few weeks. But it's become a tradition that John Elwood has set up, and it's a really nice deal.
So we're getting ready to get back under the green flag. The green flag will come out on lap number 71. Craig Lutz on the outside of the race leader. Ron Silk, they're the front row. Patrick Emmerling, Kyle Bonsignor have been up front all day. And then you've got Justin Bonsignor, Anthony Cecily, row number 3. The pace truck is in, ready to turn them loose one more time here at Riverhead, and they are off and running. Ron Silk with a great start, able to get ahead of Craig Lutz. Lutz, though, putting the heat on, and here comes Kyle Bonsignor to challenge up top.
Lutz immediately dropped to the inside to get behind the 16. He didn't want to get hung on the outside. But speaking of getting hung on the outside, here comes Kyle Bonsignor. But he'll feel the heat to the inside from Patrick Emmerling in car number 1. And Emmerling's been hanging around here early on. He's got a good car right now as he comes back to the 3rd spot.
Emmerling has been outstanding here at this racetrack. He's got 5 runner-up finishes, a victory, and a 7th over the past several starts here. He has gotten very good here, and he said one of the reasons why is he's figured out how to be patient at a racetrack where the chrome horn is probably one of the biggest tools you have in the tool shed.
I remember when he got his first win here, he was blown away in victory lane. He couldn't believe that he was able to survive all the laps. He didn't have any marks on his car, but he did a great job, and he came back the next time, won again.
Two cousins battling for 4th. Justin Bonsignor to the inside of his cousin Kyle Bonsignor, and Justin up to 4th, the furthest he has been towards the front today. Behind them, Austin Beers continuing to chip away one position at a time, and Tyler Ripkema in the 32 right behind him. He is starting to figure out how to run these small racetracks as well in the 32 car.
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job. Again, I remember his first time here, he could barely turn through the corner. He was sending it in so far, and then I remember missing a practice and standing up on the ramp and watching the entry. And then all of a sudden, little by little, he started to get much better in car number 32.
3 wide for a moment as Tom Rogers got into the back of Tyler Ripkema. That put Doug Colby to the inside lane. The big loser is going to be Jack Hanley and then some. Hanley into Beatty across the start finish line. Caution. Number 4 is out. Beatty did not hit the outside wall. I think he'll be okay. He'll continue on. And Jack Hanley, if anything, suspension damage. He'll cut right across Ron Silk to try to stay on the lead lap and get ahead of the pace truck.
Unfortunate there. They got 3 wide down the back straightaway. And Hanley was the odd man out. He had backed out to allow Tom Rogers Jr. and Doug Colby to go by. As he backed out, it kind of narrowed up here on the front straightaway. Jake Johnson made contact with him, and around he went. And he just caught John Beatty Jr. on John Beatty Jr.'s way by, which spun him into turn number 1.
Yeah, so he was able to continue on the 5. The 45 grabbed a gear and he kept going. Rejoins at the tail end of the field. But boy, that got pretty exciting pretty quick. There are some racetracks where it's a little dicey running 3 wide. It's really dicey running 3 wide here at Riverhead.
I mean, when you get in the corner, you better not be 3 wide. Someone has to lift, because on exit, out of turn number 4 here, it narrows up pretty quick. So when the replay comes, you'll see that that's what Hanley did, but in backing out, they approached him very quickly.
You see they were 3 wide at the time. Beatty was down at the bottom, Johnson in the middle, and then the 45 of Jack Hanley up top. He was just going backwards and just ran out of room, and Johnson came up the racetrack, got into the side of the 45. They went spinning, and that brought out the caution. Another look at it from behind, just simply ran out of room off turn 4.
It is amazing that they didn't tear up 3 race cars there. All 3 will be able to continue.
So the 45 car of Jack Hanley has been moved back behind the pace vehicle here along the front straightaway, as he was not quite able to stay on the lead lap, it would appear. And they are still working out all the details of this, as the 45 car directly ahead of the 16 of Ron Silk. Craig Lutz there as well. I like Lutz, right? So Silk had stopped on the front straightaway, and Lutz says, ooh, there's daylight. I'm going out and around that to see if I can get ahead of that. Looks like a couple of cars going to come down pit road here. The second time today, Jake Johnson's got a flat tire. The right front is down on that 3 car. Jake Johnson on pit road, Tim Conley on pit road, and Timmy Salamito, who has been on and off pit road multiple times. Let's go down to Jessie Punch. She's standing by in the pit of Timmy Salamito.
Yeah, got Timmy Salamito in that 15 down here on pit. Now I believe the 4th time today, making a few adjustments to that left rear tire. They put it on the jack, took it back off, and sent him on his way. So doesn't seem to be much going on down here in that 15 pit. Just a quick stop for Timmy.
So this is a brand new race car for Timmy Salamito, making its maiden voyage here today. He has been on and off pit road several times. He's been involved in some incidents, but the adjustments they've made have not allowed him to gain positions. He has struggled on track as man thinks he just keeps getting in the middle of everything back there in the 20th position or so.
Yeah, he hasn't had much room to get through this field, and you can't wear it out coming through this field because you don't get any other tires. So he needs to make sure that he can be conservative, yet try and pass cars, which is tough to do here, especially only 87 laps in this time by.
Field will go ahead and give the 1 to go signal, and we'll get back under the green flag here. It'll be lap 88 when the green flag comes out. Ron Silk on the bottom. Craig Lutz up top as we rack him up one more time. Green flag goes out. This time, though, Lutz does not dive to the inside lane. He'll challenge to the outside of Ron Silk.
Craig Lutz, car number 46, to the outside of Ron Silk. Silk with a good run back on the inside. He'll lead at the line. Ron Silk to the inside. Craig Lutz to the outside. Lutz settles in behind him. Here comes Justin Bonsignor.
the race in September, the outside lane was the preferred lane, and everybody ran up top. Craig Lutz sideways in second, 3 wide behind. Kyle Bonsignor to the bottom for a moment, but both Patrick Emmerling and Justin Bonsignor gave the 46 enough room to gather it back in, and I think that saved the entire field.
Bonsignor right now looks pretty strong on the outside of Patrick Emmerling, and here comes Austin Beers with him in car number 64.
Austin Beers, little by little, starting to become a factor. Patrick Emmerling trying to hold in on the inside lane. You talk about a strong race car to the outside lane. Justin Bonsignor trying to take over third, the long way around up top.
Bonsignor with a good run as he and Emmerling are side by side out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
The groove is starting to widen out. Austin Beers now elects to follow in the tire tracks of Patrick Emmerling as Bonsignor nearly collects the outside wall off turn 4, gathered it back in. Emmerling is sideways and out of shape. 3 wide behind them. Here comes Trevor Catalano to the top side.
Out of nowhere, here comes the 56 car of Trevor Catalano. He'll try to go with Bonsignor to the 4th spot as Emmerling paddles back on the inside in car number 1.
Boy, Trevor Catalano with an aggressive move to put his name back inside the top 5. Bonsignor out of shape. Emmerling nearly stopped in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and it stacked everybody up behind him. Now everybody pointed in the right direction, but the battle continues on. Here comes Anthony Cecily down on the apron trying to challenge Austin Beers.
What a job. Oh, contact there. Around goes the 56 of Catalano. Oh, a bunch of cars get involved.
32, Tyler Ripkema. Brody has got some damage there as well. The 88, Roger Turbush, and Tyler Catalano in it as well. Mark Stewart trying to pull to the bottom lane and get away from that. But boy, look at the damage to the back of the 32 car. That rear Nerf bar right in behind the right rear tire pushed down. He's got damage on the left side as well. And they will stop the cars here in turns 1 and 2.
And how quickly it can change as Trevor Catalano on the outside went with Justin Bonsignor, started passing some cars, and now he sits at the exit of turn number 2.
Red flag now put out with the track virtually blocked off turn 2. You see Tyler Catalano just asking for a push to get him rolling. You see his hands emphatically waving. I just need a push. Similar to his brother Tommy Catalano, not able to get the car fired up again. Tommy, his brother, has rejoined. He's back in 28th, 7 laps off the pace.
Here they come. They're going to try and get him rolling. That got pretty wild there for a moment.
Boy, it was exciting up front with Bonsignor out of shape, and then Emmerling out of shape, and then deeper in the pack, we saw the contact that sent the 32 around and the 96 involved. It started with the 56 of Trevor Catalano, was the first car to go spinning. But that is what makes this racetrack so fun. Just 2 laps shy of the halfway point today. And they've gotten Tyler Catalano pushed away from the outside as we sit under the red flag, left front tire down on the 84 car. Get a look here, and contact from behind from the 19 of Anthony Cecily finally sent Catalano around in front of everybody. His brother collected in the incident.
And what a shame. He had a great run going. And he had lost a bunch of spots and started working his way back to the front here. But today, looks like his day will probably be over. A lot of damage to the number 56 of your pole sitter, Trevor Catalano.
Those 2 cars still tied together off turn 2. The wreckers and the safety crew just trying to get those cars pulled apart by the way they came together there off turn 2 of the back straightaway. Matt Brody, the other driver involved, and one of the other local drivers that has a lot of experience here at this track.
And Matt Brody had a good run going as well, as he had started to come through this field before that happened.
Yeah, the excitement of this one has been pretty wild there. That turn 1 and 2 has been treacherous for these modified drivers. And they're trying to bring another wrecker in here, I think, to be able to pull this car off hammock style. Either that, or they're going to use that to disconnect the 96 car of Matt Brody off turn 2. So this race, the 5th race of the 2024 season for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, kicked off down in Florida during Speed Weeks in February. Ron Silk victorious there. Then Justin Bonsignor scoring the win in Richmond. Silk back a winner at the Icebreaker at Thompson Speedway, and last time out we saw a first-time winner at Monadnock Speedway with the 3-car of Jake Johnson going to victory lane. Who will win today? Listen, we're in the middle of a short track stretch. We started the season on 3 of the bigger tracks. New Smyrna Speedway down in Florida, Richmond Raceway in Virginia, Thompson Speedway, some of the high-speed race courses. And now we're in the middle of a 3-race stretch of just tight bull rings. Monadnock Speedway up in Winchester, New Hampshire. Much like this racetrack, a little bit different banking, a little different straightaway configuration, but a small bull ring like this here. Then here at Riverhead, and then the first weekend in June, we'll have an opportunity to race at Seekonk Speedway, almost a perfect circle out in Seekonk, Massachusetts, just a bit east of Providence, Rhode Island, over the border, only a handful of miles, a very popular racetrack for modified racing. Before we head off to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Magic Mile, it'll be run in June this year, a date change, what is typically run in July, so now a June race for New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a companion weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, Saturday, June 22nd. Monadnock Speedway back there in July as the Granite State Derby Short Track Cup continues with backing from Whelen Engineering, a short mini race series, and off to Western New York and Lancaster Motorplex at the beginning of August. So that's the schedule over the next couple of weeks. If you're interested in the next couple of races, if you're interested in following along with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, lots of action, and we've seen plenty of excitement already in the first 4, now 5 races of the season.
And this one is normally like a wild card, like they would say in cup racing, because there are some drivers that just don't normally run these types of bull rings. So, like an Anthony Cecily here today, he hasn't run here since 2008. And then you look at drivers like Austin Beers, who started his career at a short track. And then now the Riverhead drivers are starting to make their way towards the front. J.B. Fortin, Tommy Rogers Jr., J.R. Bertuccio, Justin Brown, Chris Young, Timmy Salamito. All of them together on the raceway as they try to make their way.
So work continues over there off turn number 2 as they've got the Brody car picked up, the Catalano car picked up. Looking to get this car pulled and separated apart, and then we'll get back under the caution flag here. So Ron Silk, the race leader, smooth as silk as he has been throughout the season. Craig Lutz sitting second, Justin Bonsignor and Patrick Emmerling third and fourth, Anthony Cecily rounding out the top 5. Austin Beer sits sixth with Kyle Bonsignor, who slid back. Doug Kobe, who's been up and down today, has started 17th, got up to 8th, fell back to 13th, now he's back to 8th again. J.B. Fortin and Tom Rogers in 10th. And I'm excited to watch Tom Rogers as this race goes on, because I think he's got a really good race car. He just doesn't have the track position right now, and he is slip-sliding that car around like a multi-time champion knows how to do here at Riverhead.
Yeah, Tom Rogers Jr., just an amazing, amazing competitor here at Riverhead Raceway. And he's got a good ride going in that car. Right now, if you look on the raceway, though, Doug Kobe, left front flat tire. The 45 car here in front of us, Jack Hanley Jr., right front flat tire. I don't know if anyone else that we can see, but Kobe, the lap before this happened, was sideways in 3 and 4 and was able to get out of that and actually passed a car. But now, I don't know if he had any contact on that. You can see his front bumper is in the air in the Baldwin Automotive 7NY.
He's not the only one.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're all in the air.
There's a lot of chrome horns that have seen better days. Now, many of the teams didn't put chrome bumpers on. Some of them actually took them off.
Yeah, some of them were smarter. Yeah, smarter than that.
We'll save the chrome for a place like New Hampshire, when you can really see it glistening there, and you use that bumper for the draft, not necessarily to knock the guy in front of you out of the way like you do here at Riverhead. But that's what makes it exciting. John Beatty, his bumper is pointed skyward as well. It does make it harder, though, once you point that to the back where you can't get square on that back bumper and root somebody up out of the way if you need to.
Yeah, and you look at a car like Timmy Salamito's where the left rear corner is wrinkled, Same with Justin Brown in the 24 car. The 81 of Mark Stewart, the rear bumper is up in the air. I mean, there's been a lot of contact here. Only 98 laps into this event.
We'll see how the scoring all works out. I mean, once everybody stops after a caution period, it goes back to the last completed lap, less the accident car. So we'll see where he stacks up. Right now on scoring, he's 14th. Not sure whether or not that's exactly where he'll land. We'll find out when they circle back around and reset the running order. But we were just talking about how he's just stuck back in the 20s. Can't move forward. And, one incident like this, if you're in the right spot at the right time, you can pick up a lot of spots and move forward.
Red flag being pulled in. Unfortunate for Matthew Brody as his car gets towed off the raceway.
Let's go down to pit road and Jesse Punch.
So Trevor Catalano finally made its way down here to his pit box. Trevor, a rookie in this series, making his first start here at Riverhead. He was scheduled to start 7th with the redraw, started on the pole, and of all the drivers to start on the pole, he was the most apprehensive, saying, look, I'm just using this run to learn this place, to try to get this figured out. That team now attending to that front left tire. It's flat to get that change, get that 56 back out there so that Trevor can finish today's run, and like I said, learn as much as he can before this series returns back here to Riverhead later this season.
Well, the Catalano car getting that left front tire put back on. One of the things that might have helped him here in this situation is that the 16 car of Ron Silk could not refire the race car, so they had to get one of the safety vehicles to push that car away. And that might have just gotten Trevor Catalano a little bit more time with a red flag coming out to get that car repaired and back out onto the racetrack without losing more time than he probably would have otherwise.
Yeah, and I don't believe he lost a lap because they stopped the field before they came back to the accident scene. So I don't believe he even lost a lap.
Yeah, we'll update you. We'll watch scoring circle back around, and there's some more work to be done. There you see the 45, that right front tire down for Jack Hanley, as all the cars will pull up to the infield, and among them Doug Kobe, the left front tire down. Now pit road was still closed when they brought the 56 car down pit lane, so there will be a consequence for that, and pit road remains closed as they sort the lineup out and everybody comes around. But we'll see several cars down on pit road, including Doug Kobe. Trevor Catalano will come back in. Tyler Catalano with the left front tire down. Tim Conley looking to come down pit road. And the 32 of Tyler Ripkema, and that is not going to be a quick stop for Tyler Ripkema because the Nerf bar has to be in position by the rulebook, and he's got both the left rear and the right rear Nerf bar that are badly damaged on that 32 car.
And in all of this, because he was able to drive away, I forgot about him. That's a lot of damage to the back of Ripkema's number 32.
Multiple cars down here on the pit lane at the moment. An adjustment for Tim Conley's car. Work being done on Tyler Catalano's left front to get him back out on the racetrack. Let's go trackside and Jesse Punch.
That 7 of Doug Kobe made his way down pit road, got one tire changed, and he was out quickly, ready to get back on that racetrack. Doesn't look like there was any damage or any concern for the team, just making a tire change.
All right, so Kobe will be the second car off pit road behind Tyler Catalano. Now the starting lineup is certainly going to reset and look a lot different than it was just a few moments ago with several cars coming down pit road, and we'll see how that changes things from about 10th on back. Some of the cars that were on and off pit lanes will allow scoring to cycle back around. But Ron Silk, we know, is the race leader as we've now entered into the second half of the event here today, and that means that the mid-race leader award presented by Josteens, the Phil Kurz mid-race leader award, will end up going to Ron Silk as he was the leader at lap 100, the halfway race of today's Miller Lite Salutes. Wayne Anderson 200.
And to look at the cars that are moving to the front, car number 34, J.B. Fortin, started this event the 20th starting position. He currently sits 8th. Tom Rogers Jr. started 21st. He sits in the 9th spot. Justin Brown, 22nd. to 11th. Chris Young, currently running in the 12th start spot, starting 26.
Patrick Everling darts out of line, running 4th, and comes down pit lane. The one car of Emmerling is on pit road and brings it down to the attention of the crew. He's got some tape hanging off the left rear of the car. They pull that off and send it back out onto the racetrack. So Emmerling, who was running 4th, had to come down pit road, get that removed, and now rejoins at the tail end of the field, devastating to his run today.
He had a great run going. It looked like he had settled into position number 3. And now Emmerling finds himself all the way back. Field has been called back to order.
So an update from NASCAR on why the one car came down pit road. It wasn't taped necessarily. It was taped, but it was holding a body brace, which was sticking past the car. It was metal. If it came across another car, it would have punctured it. So they had to come down and get that taken off. Green flag goes back out. Silk back on the go pedal.
Much better this time by for Ron Silk as Craig Lutz in car number 46 comes to the 2nd spot. Tyler Ripka back on pit road. Justin Bonsignor to 3rd, but here comes Cecily to the outside.
Cecily's been looking good. Kyle Bonsignor got rooted out of the way off turn 2, nearly collected the outside wall, but didn't. Now he's got Tom Rogers behind him, so lots of battles there in the outside groove. Austin Beers on the move, looking for 4th this time, underneath Anthony Cecily in the backstretch.
Beers has been quietly moving to the front here today, taking a car when he can get it, but he's done an excellent job to get himself into the top 4.
Quietly moving forward, J.R. Bertuccio there as well, challenging Kyle Bonsignor, Tom Rogers right behind. And how about the 49 car? We're going to talk all about Chris Young today. Started 26th, having a good run inside the top 10 now.
Problems for Timmy Salamito.
Up out of the way in turns 1 and 2, he'll continue on. But the caution flag did come out as cars were scattered all over turns 1 and 2. Everybody kept rolling in the right direction, but Timmy Salamito back on pit road again here today.
Right side into the fence here on the front straightaway. Didn't see how he got there. Just caught the end of it.
So that's the 5th caution of the day. It's lap 112. Timmy Salamito involved once again, and we'll head back out onto the racetrack here as he continues to try to get service done on that car. And again, just to reiterate what we saw under that last caution, Patrick Everling was running 4th. He came down pit road for what appeared to be orange neon-colored tape hanging off the back of the race car, but instead the tape was attached to a piece of metal, a brace to the back body panel that was sticking past the car itself, and had that made contact with somebody else on track, it would have punctured a tire. So they had to call him down pit road to get that tape that was holding that metal brace to the car removed before he went back out onto the competition. He's now in 19th. Still on the lead lap, but certainly deep in the field when he was running inside the top 5 all day.
And Doug Kobe pulls up again to pit. I don't know what's going on with the 7. He'll go into pit road.
See what he does here for work. They'll go around and just make an air pressure adjustment. So Kobe making some spring adjustment here on the front, making a little bit of air pressure adjustment on the back, and what they're doing is they're taking a little bit of air out of that left rear tire, trying to open that stagger up a bit and get that car to turn better.
And they have 85 laps to get back to the front. It's the 22 car. Kyle Bonsignor also on pit road.
His car was evil over the past couple of laps. He was having a hard time hanging onto it. No surprise to see him on pit lane here, as they still have a little bit of time to make the most of it. Two different stories, though. Kyle Bonsignor running for championship, running for points, but Doug Kobe really just one-off here and there, part-time schedule, not running for owners championships like they've done in the past, and that 7 New York, and this obviously a racetrack that means a lot to Tommy Baldwin Jr. here at Riverhead.
A lot of history here for Tommy Baldwin Jr., 5-time True Value Gold Wrench Award winner here at Riverhead Raceway. And the one thing he said when he got back into the modifieds is every time he can support this place, he will be here with his car. So any big events that we have and there's no modified tour race or he's not running down south on the Southern Tour, he will make sure that 7NY is in attendance here at Riverhead Raceway.
Well, the Whelen Modified Tour continues to roll through the race today and the season. Want to thank everybody at Whelen Engineering, the title sponsor of the Modified Tour, a trusted global leader in emergency warning industry, has been manufacturing in America for over 70 years. They've never left, and they are here to stay. And we certainly appreciate all the support Whelen Engineering provides, not only for the Whelen Modified Tour, but many of the safety services and EMT officials around the country, providing some of the best lights in the business at racetracks and across all first responders throughout the country and the world. And they're a big part of Whelen Modified Tour action. Field will come across the line this time through, and Tim Conley gets the wave around. He'll stack him up 2x2, 118 laps complete. In today's Miller Lite salutes Wayne Anderson 200 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. We're getting a little bit closer to the finish, and you can see everybody getting up on the wheel a little bit more. You've got two drivers in row 4 that are local favorites, J.R. Bertuccio and Tom Rogers, and they continue to charge to the front of the field. Green flag is out. It's Silk and Lutz once again.
Here comes the 51 car now. Justin Bonsignor, but look at Craig Lutz on the outside. Ronnie Silk battles back to the inside. It'll be Lutz at the line this time. Craig Lutz, car number 46, with a good run down the back straightaway as he'll try to come out in front of Ron Silk. But Silk again battles back to the inside, and Ron Silk will lead that time by.
Ron Silk, a half a car length advantage at the line, but Craig Lutz is not going to fade away easily up there in the top groove. He'll hang tough to the outside. Ron Silk to the bottom, still not quite able to clear Craig Lutz this time through.
What a job by Ronnie Silk, giving Craig Lutz plenty of room to the high side of the raceway, and Silk continues to move back to the front spot, but Lutz is still right there on the outside.
And they're 2x2 through the top 8. You go back to the top 10, even still side by side there, and they're stacked up like they're running a pace lap here at the racetrack, but they are full speed. Inside lane, Ron Silk with a slight advantage, but the outside groove continues to come in until turn 2. Now Lutz gives Ron Silk a shot getting down into turn 3.
Ron Silk, car number 16, your race leader. The 46 car of Craig Lutz is second, Justin Bonsignor to third, but he feels the heat to the high side from Austin Beers in car number 64.
And J.B. Fortin is right there as well, and he's been running good here at Riverhead this season.
What a ride for Fortin from 20th to the 5th spot.
Has a shot at 4th here as he tries to put the nose underneath the 64 with that door open from Justin Bonsignor directly ahead, trying to fill that gap to the bottom and challenge Austin Beers.
Austin Beers continues to hang on the outside, but here comes J.B. Fortin now to the inside. Fortin looks to go to position number 4 to the inside of Austin Beers.
J.B. Fortin and this team have had a rough couple of years in the Modified Tour, and he roughs up Austin Beers to get by him in turn 1. Get a little slide job using that Nerf bar, but that's what it takes here at Riverhead. He takes over the 4th spot.
There is some history between Justin Bonsignor and J.B. Fortin here at Riverhead Raceway. It'll be interesting to see how they race each other, but right now, Justin Bonsignor comfortably sits in the 3rd spot. Ronnie Silk, your race leader. Craig Lutz is second. 3rd is Justin Bonsignor. Beers now looking to the inside of Fortin for 4th. Beers runs 5th. 6th is Anthony Cecily. 7th, Tom Rogers Jr. 8th, car number 2, J.R. Bertuccio. 9th is Chris Young, and 10th is Jake Johnson.
There's still a long way to go. We have seen the drama of this one with all the action throughout the event today here in Riverhead. Ron Silk has certainly been firmly in command with Craig Lutz hot in pursuit. But what will happen next? You got guys like Tom Rogers and that green 00 who has looked very, very good today. He's brought J.R. Bertuccio to the front as well. They continue to march forward. You just rattled off where they're running. Tom Rogers running in 7th. Can they find a little bit extra here in the final laps of this one?
And it almost looks as if they've settled down here. They're going to run single file for a while, and then whoever has the car to make the moves will start to drive to the front. But right now, your top 12 to 15 cars are single file here as they come to lap number 137.
They have used a lot of their race car up, a lot of the brake up, a lot of the tires up. They've gotten about everything that they can out of it and trying to see if they can maximize that extra bit for the final 63 laps of today's event. But Ron Silk out in front just opening things up from the rest of the battle. Justin Bonsignor under attack right now. JB Fortin is there, and Fortin pounding on the back bumper here at Bonsignor off turn 4.
And Bonsignor will try to hold his spot in car number 51, but JB Fortin with a good run down the back straightaway into the back bumper again of the 51 car.
He is right there, putting on the pressure. I walked by this 34 car when they were warming things up here yesterday, and you can just hear the car sounds a little bit different. And at a racetrack like this, you don't use all the power that these engines have. You got to be really gentle, really ginger on the throttle. And JB Fortin and this team were smart, and many of the teams are. They back them off a little bit, pull the timing back a little bit, detune them a bit, so you're not using as much of your race car when you get to the throttle. And that setup has served this team well. The 34 car for JB Fortin.
Unfortunate for Timmy Solomito as he heads to pit road yet again in car number 15. But right now up front, car number 16, Ron Silk, continues to set the pace. As Craig Lutz runs second, but Justin Bonsignor is starting to reel him in. As he's pulled away from JB Fortin, who's in fourth, as Austin Beers runs fifth.
Silk is out just for a Sunday afternoon drive as he has got this field firmly in command. He's got 10 car lengths the advantage, no lap traffic directly ahead, about a straightaway behind Trevor Catalano, and he's got plenty of room back to Craig Lutz. But Craig Lutz has got a mirror full right now, and Justin Bonsignor knows that we're closing in on 50 laps to go, and he has gone to the afterburner.
And as you said earlier, before here's Bonsignor to the inside of Lutz now for position number 2, and he will take it.
Remember the epic battle that we had here a year ago. 3 races, trouble, and Trevor Catalano. Caution is out, the 6th of the day.
Trevor Catalano, car number 56, at the exit of turn number 2 with a problem. He'll get that car back underway. Business is starting to pick up at the front.
And look at what we have up front. We'll take a look at scoring to see if Bonsignor had completed the pass to make that second place position before the caution flag came out. Last year we came here, this race, Justin Bonsignor won. We came back in June. Ron Silk won. Then we came back in September in a dramatic finish. The two battled, and the tail of the tape was 1-1 between the two of them, and the rubber match went to Justin Bonsignor. And look who's out front, Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignor. And you know, everybody who saw that race last year, who's back in the paddock area, down on pit road, watching this race right now, remembers the intensity of that battle last season.
And the two of them last year started up front for that race. For this particular race, Bonsignor started 5th and Silk started 6th. So they've had to work their way to the front. Silk much faster to the front than Bonsignor was, but now Bonsignor's car seems to be getting better on this long run at lap 150. Now it's just a regular Saturday night show here at Riverhead Raceway.
The 56 of Trevor Catalano down on pit road following that last incident. He has dropped the window net. That will be the end of the day for Trevor, the rookie, making his first start here at Riverhead. Also worth noting, during that last green flag run, the 15 of Timmy Solomito brought his car down pit road. Window net, end of the day for the 15 team as well.
Well, thank you, Jesse. Tough day for Trevor Catalano. Started in the number 1 position based on the redraw, but he has been involved in a couple of incidents today that have made it a long afternoon and what looked to be very promising for him early on.
Yeah, he looked really good earlier. Then he had fallen back a few spots, but then worked his way back to the top 5 and had done an excellent job. And unfortunately, his day is over here today in the Miller Lite 200 at Riverhead Raceway.
Back on pit road is Doug Kobe, and they are going to change the left front tire and put it on the left rear, and the left rear tire and put it on the left front. You can't change tires, but that doesn't mean you can't change where they are on the race car.
You can move them. They are having a rough day. They were good early, but they're having a rough day now as Kobe's trying to come from the back. Any advantage he can get, he's going to try to get here.
And they were a team that really got hit by the weather, really mostly because they're not running full time this year, don't have the owner points to stack up against some of the others, and because of that had to start 17th. And when that came out, I was standing in their pit area when the starting lineup was released, and you can see both Tommy Baldwin and Doug Kobe when Doug ran over with that starting lineup via text message from NASCAR and said, we're going to be 17th. You see the frustration build, and that's a tough break. It was set by the rule book. It was the same for everybody, but that's one of the things that really has impacted Kobe in that 7 New York today.
And it's so hard to come from the back here. I mean, you've seen, we have J.B. Fortin has come from the back today, as has Tom Rogers Jr., J.R. Bertuccio, and Chris Young as well. But, you know, it's far from over. So let's see if Kobe can make his way back to the top of the running order here today.
All right, here we go. 45 laps to go.
The gloves are off, buddy.
Battle of the Titans. We're here in the Coliseum in Riverhead, New York, and the Gladiators are about ready to go at it. Ron Silk, Justin Bonsignor on the front row. Will tempers flare? Will cooler heads prevail? It's Ron Silk who gets the advantage here on the start. Justin Bonsignor is going to have to battle with Craig Lutz. Lutz keeping the nose to the inside. He wants to get back to second.
Craig Lutz with a good run to the inside. Bonsignor on the outside, though, will hold the second spot that time by. Here comes Lutz on the bottom. Ron Silk loves what he sees in his rearview mirror as they battle, and he's able to pull away.
Well, you know, Lutz and Bonsignor just using up their equipment, and Lutz able to get through. Bonsignor will tap to the back bumper of Craig Lutz, tries to root him up out of the way, but not close enough to make it work.
Austin Beers with a run to the inside of J.B. Fortin.
And they run 2 by 2. Meanwhile, a header pipe comes off a car and drifts right across the front of the racetrack, and it's hit by Ronnie Silk. Silk hits the debris off turn number 4 as a caution flag was coming out, and he's got damage to the front of the race car. It hit it square directly under the race car, and I don't know whether or not there'll be any damage from a radiator standpoint, but Ron Silk hit that thing about as square as you could as it rolled down the banking in front of the race leader.
And it held up. It was up top. And when all the cars went by, it started to roll down, and Ron Silk, it went right in front of his car. How unfortunate.
So the 16 of Ron Silk has had a great day today. But one thing, could it change the outcome of today's event? The debris that he collected off turn 4, the damage on the front of the car, the caution flag was out. The debris that Silk was the first car to come around and hit it as the race leader, and the damage is there on that machine. Working the story down on pit lane is Jesse Punch. Jesse, we see the damage from our perspective up here on the racetrack with the 16 car. What is the crew saying? Is that going to be a problem as we eye the finish today?
Well, the crew watched that one happen, threw their arms up in the air as they saw it. They couldn't do anything about it, obviously, here. Neither from his position on the racetrack, but with heavy damage to that front bumper, that thing is completely folded. That crew's going to do what they can to get that sorted out. That's definitely affected that 16 as he was having an incredibly strong day there in the lead.
The thing you worry about that, Steve, is does it clip the radiator? Does it clip any of the hoses that are underneath, the power steering line or something along those lines, or an oil line that could spell disaster? But I think we would have seen it by now.
That's what I was going to say. You don't see any smoke. You don't see any fluid just yet. And if you're Phil Moran, you might as well roll the dice here. I would keep him out on the raceway as he has. I didn't even see the header come out. Did anyone else get a piece of it? I didn't see it. And I don't see it on the raceway. I know it's not still under there. It can't be.
You never know. So, a little twist on this one with the problems for Silk. Now, Craig Lutz was able to get by Justin Bonsignor, and, you know, starting third here may not be the worst thing. And we saw that with Craig Lutz as he was able to get a spot over Justin Bonsignor.
And you'll watch for Bonsignor to stay right on the 16's bumper here so he can get to the inside of the 46 car and start to utilize those sidebars to try and move him up the raceway and take back position number 2.
It's going to take a push and a shove, I think, to be able to get Ron Silk out of that race lead. He's not just going to pull over. He's had a very good day. He's got a very good race car, but you're going to have to be aggressive if you want to win this race over Ron Silk today.
Let's hope that the 16 has no issues from hitting that header. Muffler. Green flag back in the air. Ron Silk with a good restart. Here comes Bonsignor.
Here comes Lutz, though. Lutz nearly got the bumper to the outside lane of Silk, and he'll tap him into turn 4. Now they are side by side for second again as Ron Silk able to open up 2 car lengths over Justin Bonsignor, battling with Craig Lutz for second.
Exactly what he wants to see, but now Bonsignor with a clear run to the inside comes to the second spot, and here comes Austin Beers. What a ride for J.R. Bertuccio.
Bertuccio thought about 3 wide off turn 2. Look to the bottom. Beers able to get by Craig Lutz. Now Bertuccio sneaks in underneath the battle for position. Tom Rogers is right there as well, and the guy going backwards is not only Craig Lutz, but also J.B. Fortin in the outside.
Yeah, they're caught on the outside groove, and those 2 cars, J.R. Bertuccio and Tom Rogers Jr. making a run here to come to the top 5.
30 laps to go. It's Ron Silk, Justin Bonsignor, Austin Beers, and J.R. Bertuccio. Now 4th, 5th for Craig Lutz, and J.B. Fortin holding on the outside.
Bertuccio with a solid run here so far has taken his time and he's been patient. But Ron Silk right now is about a 4-car length advantage over Justin Bonsignor.
Austin Beers might be a little bit quicker than Justin Bonsignor. Trouble, turn 4. Anthony Cecily into the outside wall. Caution flag is out. Heavy damage to the right front tire of Anthony Cecily. He ran out of racetrack at the exit of turn 4 and pancaked the right side with a hard hit to that 19 car.
And as we said earlier, Cecily, first time here since 2008. He was enjoying a pretty successful day, but then started to slide to the back. Now finds himself disabled here on the front straightaway. Ron Silk's car doesn't look worse for the wear. After that incident with the muffler, he picked up right where he left off in car number 16.
So the record is going to come over here and pull the 19 car of Anthony Cecily back to the paddock area down here on pit lane. And boy, what a tough day for Anthony Cecily as he looks to remove the helmet behind the wheel of that car. It has been an eventful day here at Riverhead. 8th caution of the day. Let's get another look at it. Cecily was running in the outside groove and car just took off. Not able to tell whether or not there was contact from behind or if something went away, but the car darted aggressively to the right. He had Emmerling tucked up behind him. As they came off the corner, the car just took off.
Remember, he had contact earlier too, so that might have been from that. He was involved in that wreck with Catalano, and I wonder if that had any outlying damage from that incident, which now finally broke in car number 19.
So we're inside of 25, now 24 laps to go. And we've seen 4 different leaders so far between Trevor Catalano, Patrick Emmerling, Craig Lutz, and Ron Silk.
Couple of new players coming to the front. J.R. Bertuccio and Tom Rogers Jr. As Bertuccio in the Gershow Recycling number 2 has marched his way to the 4th spot.
Go back to one of our keys to the race at the start of the broadcast today. Fend off the locals. And that's what they're going to have to do today with 2 of them running inside the top 6 and J.R. Bertuccio and Tom Rogers. And then you go back, J.B. Fortin. I mean, he was a tour regular for a while, but you could consider him a local as well.
Yeah, he's running on a weekly basis here at Riverhead right now, so you can consider him a local. And great run for Chris Young as well.
You look at the top 10, right? You got J.R. Bertuccio, Tom Rogers. They run 4th and 6th. J.B. Fortin 7th. Craig Young 8th. Mark Stewart 10th. You got 5 of the top 10 that race weekly here at Riverhead.
Yeah, a nice mix. And to be this late in the race also. Normally we may have 1 or 2 up front at this point of the race, but they've done a nice job managing their equipment. They all had to come from the back. Remember that because of qualifying. They all came from the 20s. Well, JR might have been the closest up front. He was 19. but Bertuccio from 19th to 4th. So what a great run by all these competitors here today. And Ronnie Silk, good to see that damage to the nose doesn't seem to have affected his car.
And that's one of the things that I really like about this race. We're here now, we're here in September for the Eddie Partridge 256 again this fall. 2 races with the Whelen Modified Tour here in 2024. I like the local drivers in the mix. It's one of the few tracks that we run at where the Tour Type Modifieds run here weekly. We talked about earlier, really the only main difference is the tires and the compound that you run from a 50-lap race to a 200-lap race here today. I love the intrigue of the local drivers defending the home turf and the Tour regulars really having to fight for everything they can get in these races.
Yeah, and the thing is, our rule book is the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour rule book. That's the rules we go by here. And the only thing, as you said, the only difference is the tire compound. Well, the tire compound we run on a weekly basis is nothing like this. So when our guys get into these races with that compound, they're loving this. So again, it all comes down to what we said earlier, and part of the keys to the race was to manage your actual race, manage your tires, and get yourself through this event. And now we're only 19 laps away.
It'll be 18 when they see the green flag. The battle again. Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignore. What will happen? Who will capture the checkered flag today in Riverhead? Green flag comes out. Ron Silk, an outstanding start, breaks free. Austin Beers looks to the inside. He wants second under Justin Bonsignore.
Great run by Austin Beers to the inside. Again, we said he's been patient all day long, and now the patience has paid off as Austin Beers comes to position number 2.
What a drive by Austin Beers. He has been very patient throughout the day today, and that has been the factor. Third now for Justin Bonsignore. J.R. Bertuccio working the top side of Craig Lutz.
Bertuccio will come back to 4th, Lutz to 5th. He feels the challenge to the outside from J.B. Fortin as Jake Johnson goes up the hill into Tom Rogers Jr.
And Tom Rogers not happy about that, gets right back into Jake Johnson in turn 4 as those two battle side by side. Chris Young able to get through underneath Tom Rogers as he is to the outside. Now John Beatty goes to the bottom as he is backpedaling Tom Rogers to the outside.
Rogers hung on the outside groove. John Beatty Jr. to the inside as Ronnie Silk continues to lead this event.
13 to go for Ron Silk when he comes across this time. Austin Beers was fast but has not been able to close in, and Ron Silk 0.2 of a second faster that time by.
What a job as Austin Beers starts to reel in Ronnie Silk. 188 laps down, 12 remain. Ron Silk, your race leader. Austin Beers is second. Justin Bonsignore to third.
Beers was quicker by a 10th last time. Across the line, Beers faster again. Now within 1 car length, the young Austin Beers.
And Beers is getting in the corner better than Silk. He doesn't have as much drive off, but a much better run into the corner, which can enable him to get to the inside if he can get there.
10 to go. And Beers continues to be a tick faster. Now to the back bumper of Ron Silk.
He's there. Austin Beers with a great run. Watch his gain on the inside here to get to the back of the 16 car of Ronnie Silk. But Silk still strong on exit, able to pull about a half a car length.
Austin Beers early on in his career was known for patience and driving with respect. Last year he stepped up the aggression. Still respectful, but more aggressive, and that earned him multiple wins of the Whelen Modified Tour. Today, it's short track racing. How aggressive will Austin Beers be as he attacks Ron Silk?
We're about to find out. 6 laps remain. Ron Silk, your race leader. Austin Beers to second. Justin Bonsignore and J.R. Bertuccio run 3rd and 4th as J.B. Fortin comes to 5th.
5 to go this time by. You see the battle back here between Jake Johnson trying to work the inside lane and pick up spots underneath Craig Lutz in the late going. They're deep in traffic, battling for 6th and 7th.
3 to go this time by. Does Beers have enough to get to Ronnie Silk?
Lap traffic up ahead may become a factor here with 3 to go. It's Gary McDonald ahead of the race leaders. He's in turn 2, race leaders in turn 1. But Austin Beers remains about 1 to 2 car lengths behind Ron Silk. Silk going just fast enough to keep Austin Beers at bay.
198 laps down. Oh,
caution, it's Tom Rogers who is spun off turn 4 as the field was about to come to the white flag. But we will be set for overtime Rogers spins that car around, able to continue on, and we're going to have a green-white checker overtime finish here today at Riverhead. 199 laps complete as they were coming off turn 4 looking for the white flag, but Tom Rogers had already spun.
Never a dull moment. This is going to be a dandy. Beers has been faster, but not fast enough to get to Ronnie Silk. Well, now here's his opportunity.
9th caution of the day. Tom Rogers not happy with the 3, it appeared, of Jake Johnson.
Rogers had a good run going. He'd started to backslide through the field here momentarily. Then around he went.
So the overtime procedure for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour as we bypass the scheduled distance of lap 200. It'll be a 2-lap shootout, green, white, checkered. If the leader comes around and sees the white flag, the next flag ends the race. If they don't, we start all over again and try it again. Get a look at what happened, and Rogers got some help when he went around in turn 4. Not able to see which car was behind him on that look, but Tom Rogers got help from behind in a big way through turns 3 and 4. As he went spinning and was able to keep it off the outside and inside wall, able to continue on.
Overtime. And listen, Bonsignore's not out of this yet, as he'll be right behind Silk on this restart. He was comfortably in 3rd. He was probably happy to finish 3rd, so now the opportunity for Austin Beers and Justin Bonsignore. And don't count J.R. Bertuccio out as well.
Well, for Ron Silk, he has been rock solid on the starts all day long. He has beat everybody, has not been challenged. A couple of times, Craig Lutz was able to keep pace with him. And the outside lane, if you're side by side for 2 laps, which Craig Lutz was, if you time it right, you could be the leader coming across the line. And so if you're Austin Beers, you have to get a good start here.
You almost have to get a wheel on him getting in the corner and then just go as Silk goes. And Beers, as we've seen here the last few laps, is much better getting in the corner. But Silk with great drive coming off the corner still.
And that 2-car of J.R. Bertuccio, Justin Bonsignore, they've got their own agenda. Green-white checker, overtime finish, 2 laps in the first attempt at overtime to settle it here at Riverhead Raceway. They're stacked up and ready for the restart. Rolling to the inside lane. Ron Silk is going, but Austin Beers keeps the wheel to the outside in turn 2.
Great run by Beers down the back straightaway. He gets to the outside of Ronnie Silk.
White flag will be out, this time by. The race will be official. Silk to the bottom. Beers side by side on the top side. Can he keep the nose alongside and challenge for the win? He'll drop in line behind. Beers with a tap to the bumper. Silk up the racetrack, but the checkered flag is out. And for the 3rd time this season, Ron Silk has won on the Whelen Modified Tour. Tyler Catalano is spun past the finish in turns 1 and 2, but Ron Silk has hung on. Damage to the back of his race car from the contact in turn 3, coming to the checkered flag. But Ron Silk, 3 times victorious this year, 2nd here at Riverhead. And Austin Beers, we asked how aggressive he would be. He gave him a tap to the bumper, but it wasn't quite enough to pull alongside and pick up the win over Ron Silk today. Justin Bonsignore will come home in 3rd. We're going to look at the replay here of the finish on the Flow Racing broadcast as they came across for the white flag. Beers tried to keep the nose to the outside off turn 2 to drag race to the finish. He knew he couldn't have it, so he dropped in line behind. 1 tap to the back bumper, then the right front got into the back of that sail panel, and that is what the damage is from the 16. He drag raced to the finish line for the second spot, edging out Justin Bonsignor by about a foot or two for second. But at the end of the day, it was Ron Silk who was able to hold on those late race restarts to get the win here today. His third of the season, second at Riverhead in his career, and he will expand upon his point lead in the 2024 campaign. When we come back here in September, Eddie Partridge 256 tire change race will have a whole different feel for the race here in September when Whelen Modified Tour action returns to Riverhead Raceway. Victory Lane ready to go. The Miller Lite salutes. Wayne Anderson 200 lived up to the billing here today. Ron Silk, dominant performance once again. Phil Moran, Joe Yanone, and Tyler Haight leading that operation. Let's go down to Victory Lane in Ron Silk.
Here he is, your winner this afternoon at Riverhead, Ron Silk, picking up win number 3 of the Whelen Modified season, bringing home a damaged race car here to Victory Lane, starting 6th by your own redraw, and then had that issue there, that debris. How much damage add?
I didn't add it. It kind of went under there, and I felt it, first the car go up, felt it come out the back. Just a great job by my entire team. The car was awesome. And it lasted right to. I did head and another win on the season, and we're just going to keep trying to pick them off.
3 wins already this year, and on different style racing. Their ability to have in their success this year.
I have all the confidence in the world. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere this year where we haven't had a chance to win. Crew Chief Phil Moran and Car Chief Bob Tulipani really work a lot on these things and get them just right. My car owners, Tyler Haight, Joe Yanone, Future Homes, Blue Mountain Machine, everybody that helps us out, everyone for 2 days, but the commitment is certainly appreciated.
Congratulations on the win, Ron.
Thank you.
That's Ron Silk, your defending series champion, picking up win number 3 here this afternoon, his second at Riverhead Raceway.
Well, thank you, Jesse. The special trophy presentation just moments away. We'll hear from our second and third place finishers here in a moment. But what a day for the 16 team and Ron Silk. And you look at this team and they have this car just running on mean. There is no question that they are the class of the field here this season, and it's going to be a tall order with the momentum they have right now for anybody to catch them as the race goes on. Setting up down in Victory Lane for a very special trophy presentation here today, Steve Halpin is there to award the race-winning trophy to Ron Silk.
Congratulations, Ron Silk. I know winning here means a lot to you, your relationship with Eddie Partridge. This trophy is something special with the 6 car on it, which you won your championship in, your first championship in. And Wayne Anderson, we're trying to get him out here, but I think the pits are blocked. We can't get him here. But what a great run you had today. Probably a little nervous when you hit that muffler.
Yeah, I was nervous but I could feel it didn't damage anything. The temps were staying good, so I didn't think the damage was too bad. But really cool to win this race in honor of Wayne Anderson. Got to race against him. He's a great guy. And pretty cool to see Eddie's car on the trophy as well, a car I drove for years. So just a great day. It's too bad we couldn't have got it in yesterday and made it one day, but can't do anything about the weather. But pumped to get back to Victory Lane.
All right, man. As we told you last time, the first one's the toughest. Now, 2 in your last 3 races here. Great job. Great to see you in Victory Lane. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, folks, let him hear it. Ronnie Silk. And now to Jesse Punch with second and third.
Here with our second place finisher this afternoon, Austin Beers. Austin, a hard-fought second place. Take me back through that final restart there. What more did you need?
Just a little bit of drive he had, and being on the bottom really helped. That's where our car really worked. Just kind of stuck on the top, and then my spotter Lucas, who filled in for my usual spotter Jack, who's racing at Mahoning Valley tonight. He did a great job, clearing me down and giving me a shot to maybe get Ron and then kind of bumper cars at the end. But made it across the line for another good points day for us, and we'll move on to CCOM.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you very much.
Austin Beers bringing it home in second place this afternoon. Third place finisher this afternoon, Justin Bonsignor. Justin, quite an aggressive ending there. Take me back through what you saw and why so much aggression.
It's just a quarter-mile racetrack, green-white checkered. Austin got a really good start there from the outside, and you know, it's really tough here to just run 2x2. So, you know, we were a little off today. Those guys were a little better than us at the end, but all in all, good day for our Freedom Communications number 51. Appreciate all the fans coming back today with the rain outs. It's been tough here with the weather, but just got to get a little better. 16 has definitely got more raw speed than us, and we're working hard to figure it out. Just got to try again next week.
We saw that Nerf bar put into play before that green-white checkered here. Is that just the nature of racing at Riverhead, or do you think we'll see some of that aggression between you and a few of those drivers continue this season?
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, the one put me in the fence, so I gave him a bumper shot, and that was it. I think he didn't retaliate, so that's just kind of how Riverhead is. But yeah, that's just Riverhead, I think. So they opened the door for me to do it, and you got to stay in your ground.
Thanks, Justin. Justin Bonsignor bringing it home third.
Thank you, Jesse. A banner day for the modifieds again here at Riverhead Raceway. Ron Silk, the winner. Austin Beers, second. Justin Bonsignor was third. JB Fortin and JR Bertuccio rounding out the top 5. Last week's winner, Jake Johnson, will come home 6th. Craig Lutz, John Beatty, Patrick Emmerling, and Mark Stewart rounding out the top 10. More action for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. The next stop on tour is Saturday, June 1st from the Seekonk Speedway in Massachusetts. Just a few weeks from now, where the action continues in the championship chase for the 2024 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Championship. Back here at the Riverhead Raceway in September, where the action will continue for modified competition. Thanks for watching on Flow Sports. We appreciate the fans that stuck it out here on the postponed event here to a Sunday afternoon at Riverhead. But at the end of the day, Ron Silk hoists the trophy. He's victorious here in the Miller Lite salutes Wayne Anderson 200 at Riverhead Raceway.
We still have racing to go. Still have the blunderbuss for 20 laps and the street stocks for 20 laps. So we hope that you stick around here and on Flow Racing. Another great modified tour event here at Riverhead Raceway. take a couple of seconds to get ourselves organized. A great job by Ronnie Silk. To take down the win.